Hi, this is Martina Navratilova. I'm here with VR Tennis, and we're talking Roland Garros.
Hi, Martina. How are you?
I'm great.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Well, technologically challenged, as you can see. I've done a couple of these, but then you start panicking. Oh my God, how do I get on? I want on my Instagram. No, it's their Instagram. Okay. Anyway, here we
No,
are.
you did great. It was me. I was looking for you, but I didn't find you. But I found you. Happy to find you. You look very good.
Thank you. Well, I got all dressed up, as you can see, and beans,
Yeah, I
which
took a shower too. I even put some perfume on to smell good. Listen, you got to put yourself in condition, right? Where are you in the world?
we live in just outside Miami, a place called Plantation, close
Oh,
to
of
Fort.
course. I know Plantation. Nice golf course there.
Oh, well, there's lots of golf courses, although I haven't played on any of them here. But yeah, great tennis club where I play. Red clay, the best clay courts that I have found in this country.
Hmm.
Hard court. But now the club is closed because they also have a gym. But anyway, so lucky. We have a nice big garden. We have chickens, so we have fresh eggs in the morning, and
Nice.
can ride my bike outside or ride the Peloton bike inside when it's raining.
What about, I was gonna say, didn't you get rained out hard yesterday?
Yeah, we have a lake. The ducks are very happy in the backyard because they can go swimming wherever. Getting mail is difficult because getting out of the gate. There's about this much water, so I have to take my shoes off to get the mail and get back into the house. But it's all good. Just the rain. The pool is overflowing. I have an infinity pool, which it's not supposed to be, but it's all good. Yeah.
Well,
Again, fruit and space. Good.
yeah, I heard that my parents live nearby you, so they're in North Miami Beach, so they told me
Yeah.
all about this rain. Anyways, we're not here to talk about the rain. We're here to talk about sunshine. We're here to talk about Roland Garros because, as you know, we should be at Roland Garros right now. You playing, commentating, me interviewing you potentially. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but at least listen. At least tournament will be taking place later on in September, end of September. No risks are taken, which is, it's the sensible thing to do. And so let's try and make this tournament still the spirit of this tournament survive during this period. And how can we do it better than with legends of this tournament? You guys that made this tournament what it is. And we'll start. You're the first one. You're christening the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
First, I want to ask you how you're keeping busy.
Well, I have 2 kids. We have 6 dogs. We have lots of animals on the outside as well, birds, cats. So just that will keep you busy enough, and just not driving the car that much, and having a hard time getting motivated on a consistent basis, as probably do most people, because
Right.
you don't go and for me, I'm not training for anything, but keeping fit enough, getting on the bike or even running. I started running, which I hate long distance running. Much rather hit tennis balls than run for them. So I miss tennis. I do a little bit of yoga as well, and that's about it. Do some grocery shopping. Now I discovered you can actually shop online for groceries as well. So really keeping the travels outside of our house to a minimum.
Right.
But it's tricky for the kids more. For me, my life hasn't changed that much in that I don't travel. My wife, her life hasn't changed at all. She's taking care of all the animals inside. So she's basically business as usual. So this thing is affecting everybody differently, but it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
And,
For sure.
what
For sure.
happens in French this fall? I hope they can happen one way.
Yeah. It's looking good for the moment. It's looking good. Are you supposed to be? I heard a rumor that you'd be commentating maybe during Wimbledon, like Wimbledon legendary matches or something. Is that something you're going to be doing?
That's a possibility. Yes. I mean, they asked me would I be interested. Of course. It's always fun to do commentary and to do it on other matches, or maybe my match. One time I did a commentary on the last set of my final with Tracy Austin in '81 when we played each other, and I never saw it again since we played it, and we were both commenting on it. Oh, for that. Oh, I have no idea this happened, And so it's different because most of us have not watched ourselves.
For
You know,
sure.
but if I was commentating my match, it would be like trying to relive it. I haven't watched it since. So, but anything to do with Wimbledon, anything to do with, of course, the French. So anything to do with tennis. You know, people have paid for different favors here. I'm like, if it's connected to tennis, I'll do it. If it's anything else, no, forget it. You know, this is my passion, what I do well, and this is how I get back to the sport. So.
Okay, great, great. Okay, let's get back to Roland Garros. I want to talk about your memories of this tournament. I want to talk about the good ones. I want to talk about the less good ones. What's the name of that dog barking?
Well, I think my daughter just ordered some takeaway. So that's Lulu, my Tekel, miniature dachshund.
Oh wait, wow! For a Tekel, he's got a pretty hefty voice.
Well, there's also bigger here, so she always starts first, then they all follow. It's a chorus. But my memories of the French Open, I guess 73, and I played Raquel Giscafre on cold court 3, I think it was. It's doesn't exist.
Exactly, doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
There. Well, a lot has changed, but that was my very first match, and then I beat Nancy Ritchie, who was a top 10 clay court player, and I was just a nobody 16-year-old. And I remember.
Do you remember what your emotions were like when you walked into this legendary venue that was the stadium of Roland Garros, and you know you had heard about it, you had read about it, seen pictures, and then you were there all of a sudden?
Yeah, well, back then there wasn't that much attention to everything. Everything was on a smaller scale. But still, this is what I grew up in. My big thing was, I was going to get some Lacoste clothing because you played the French Open back in old Czechoslovakia, not Czech Republic. You couldn't buy that stuff. So the players, you know, you looked really cool when you had your Lacoste gear from Paris. And so I got my gear, and I won the mixed doubles title with Van Molina. And I don't think I ever made it on the central court central now, the Philippe Chatrier court. But I hung around till the second week, so it was a success. And just the history. I mean, Suzanne Lung with the Four Musketeers. That's the biggest thing that comes to your mind when you walk into back then when you walk into Roland. Now you know you got the new generation legends with Bjorn Borg and of course Rafa Nadal winning it 12 times now. I don't even one.
Who's counting? Who's counting?
It's fickle. That's the only way that he won't win. So if it's not held, pretty much. But it was just fun. Great. My second trip to France. I played the Annie Sobold Cup at Le Touquet. But first time in Paris, and you know, you just take that in as a tourist. I walked everywhere. And then played some tennis as well. But the history of the place, you really felt it then because it didn't change. The stadium hadn't changed since they built it for the Cup in the 20s. So
right.
Magic,
Right.
yeah.
And so, okay, let's start with the really good memories, the really, really, really good ones. There are two fantastic ones, obviously, 82 and 84. How were those? I mean, how those were two different. Obviously, every competition is different, every tournament is different. But how were they different? Those two wins.
I think beating Chris on clay when everything just came together and decisively. That was one of the best matches I played. Perhaps for me the best one because clay was not my friend. There were heavy balls, you know, different rackets. It was not easy to play on clay and with my style.
Yeah, I was gonna say with your offensive style, yeah.
So and playing against the greatest clay court player we ever had, and maybe we'll know in our lifetime, certainly. So that was the best memory, I think, beating Chris and just having a game plan and then executing it to near perfection. So that was pretty satisfying.
I was watching an interview of you on court right after that win by French TV with a woman that was doing simultaneous translation for you into English. Mm-hmm. It was pretty funny. Like there were two questions. You were not into him at all. You were like staring right up into to your clan, I think your parents and coach were there or something, and he asked you if that was the best match you ever played in your life, and you said, "Oh, I don't know if the best match, but I certainly is one of the matches where I made the least unforced errors ever." And
yeah, you had to do that against Chris because she certainly wasn't going to beat herself. So the trick was to not beat yourself, but still be aggressive to her to hit winners, force her into errors. Because Chris wasn't going to make those unforced errors. That you never beat her because she made too many unforced errors. You had to earn it. And so looking back, I mean, again, the game plan was very specific and executed really well. So I was really proud of that. One thing to make a plan, it's another for it to come to fruition like that. So under pressure.
Was it bigger though? That was bigger than the first time you ever won the tournament?
Well, again, you can only play as well as your competition. I beat Andrea Jaeger in the other, right? And she was a great athlete, great player, but not Chris Evert. So I felt I was a heavy favorite playing Andrea on any surface, but playing Chris on clay, I was the underdog. So you had to really bring it. So for me, back then, again, the majors were not as big a deal, although the French started to be that. But we didn't play. 70, 77, 78 didn't play. Chris didn't play either. We were playing World Team Tennis. But then it started getting bigger. And so, you came and played, but it wasn't like, oh, this is the one. I haven't won the French Open yet. It wasn't about that. Like the French, see what happens. But if it was about majors, we would have played all of them. But there was a different measuring stick back then, as you well know.
Yeah, it was about beating her in that final. You guys had a really, you guys had a really amazing relationship because I read that you guys were like, you spend a lot of time together. You'd play backgammon together in the evenings. You even housed together. You shared rooms sometimes. I mean, it's crazy. And yet, on the other hand, you went on court and it was this huge rivalry. Yeah,
we never shared a room.
Oh, okay.
But we shared pretty much everything else. The 75 when I got to the and Chris beat me in the final. We practiced together. We went to movies. We went to dinner. We stayed in the same hotel, not the same room, but everything else we did. And we practiced together before every match. We played doubles. I think we won doubles that year. And then before the final, we're like, okay, there's nobody else here, and we've been practicing every day, so we might as well practice again. So we hit before the final with each other. And there I'm telling Chris, oh, you want me to hit some more serves to your forehand, backhand, anything else you need, And she's like, would you like some more overheads? Or it was funny. It would never happen these days.
Impossible. Impossible.
Good guys, like great friends, like Rafa and Roger, great friends. No way they would practice together before they play each other in final. So times have changed. But I love that. I come from old school. It was that camaraderie, You help each other and then let the better man or woman win.
Yeah.
And you can go out to dinner and a beer and talk about it. And I love that feeling of togetherness because we're all going through the same stuff. Let's put it that way. The same emotions, same thoughts. It's how you deal with it. And if somebody's better in tennis that day, it's like, chapeau, right? They're better and well done. And let me see if I can figure out how to do better against that person or just be a better tennis player. So
life on the tour was really different. It was a different.
Yeah, before matches, we would even play backgammon or Scrabble, Boggle. That was another game. And shared meals. And I mean, it wasn't like we were friends at the moment because you're still thinking about the match, but it wasn't like we weren't going to talk to each other because we played today. So we spent a lot of, especially at Wimbledon during the rain delays, we spent a lot of time in the locker room playing backgammon.
Do you think that it's due also to the fact that the media hype around all these events now around professional sports is so much more developed and so much more media heavy that there is much more pressure that's generated, maybe also more money, sponsors, more requests? I don't know.
I think the time, you have to guard your time. That was always guarded, but maybe there's more requests, but you still only have so much time. I think the big difference is the people that travel with you. Now you have a group of people that you travel with. Before, maybe you had one, or a lot of times we were on our own. So I think when we did that French Open, I think her sister was there, Jeannie, who just passed away recently, and I was there alone, part of the Czech group, but I stayed in a different hotel. So you traveled on your own. It was normal to be on your own, and that's why we hung out together, because there was nobody else to hang out with.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest difference. Of course, the demands on time, etc. But now you have more space to go into as players. You have the player restaurants are so much nicer, so much bigger. But they had to accommodate that. But the money, I think, it becomes more competitive because of that. But overall, I think the biggest difference is the money enables you to bring people with you, and that's who you hang out with, because then you don't have to kind of censor yourself or guard.
They're also, that's also part of their job, is to keep you busy, keep you entertained, aside from obviously all the coaching stuff. I have a question here from Colin P. Murphy, who's asking you, was Steffi Graf your toughest opponent? But I'll extend that and say, who was your toughest opponent? Was it Chris, or was it?
It used to be my grandmother until I beat her when I was 10. Then my mom. No, I'm kidding. Chris was the toughest out overall, and we played each other so many times. It was really hard to surprise one another, and mentally, she never gave anything away. Technically speaking, for me, the hardest one to play was Monica, because Celis, because she had the lefty serve, which was just, I was uncomfortable with that because you didn't see it that much, so I didn't like to return the lefty serve. And it was hard to find an opening against her because she didn't give you much time to get inside the baseline or really close to it. So even serve and volley, the ball got there faster. You know, I had to adjust my approach to the net and the timing of hitting the volley, and it was hard to find an opening. Steffi was the best athlete against, but I could attack the backhand. That was like it was a very simple game plan. Yeah, no doubt. It's like, okay, that's where I'm going, and she knew that, and whoever played better that day won. So Steffi, I mean, she covered the court so well. It's why people talk about people moving so well. She was probably the best mover. She was fast. I think I was quicker, but she was faster. And she did such a great job of recovery. If she was pulled wide, she got back so quickly back in the middle of the court. So also harder to find the opening, but I could attack the backhand. With Monica, I really had no place to go. Chris, slightly weaker forehand, obviously, but it was not, for me, a place to go. I wanted to go slice up the line, but that goes to her best shot. So different challenges, and that was the beauty of it. Also, there were some different styles back then. You had to when I would make game plans with Renee Richards or Mike Estep the day before the match, we would go over this, and it was, this was this game plan. I mean, there were so many different ways to go about the points. And then it became two in backhand, one in forehand, backhand's a little better, forehand dangerous. And it was like the same game plan. So I didn't have to really go over it because it was.
I have here somebody saying that you're the GOAT. Love you, Martina. You're the GOAT. That's a nice compliment. But it's not, I mean, it's not just a compliment. It's almost a fact. Like when you go over your career and your records and the number of tournaments you won, and it's just, the numbers are just crazy. I mean, let's take Roland Garros. You participated, I think, actually, the numbers are pretty poor in terms of participation because you skipped it for a bunch of years. But I think you played 13 times you participated in the tournament. Does that sound about right?
I guess.
And you, overall, singles, doubles, mixed doubles, you have 11 titles out of 13 participations. That's, I mean, and you're 51-11 in 13 participations in singles, which is crazy. I mean, you're definitely in a debate of, say, one or three other players as the GOAT of women's tennis. I mean, how does that make you feel? Do you agree with that? I know it's whatever. It's, we're talking about you, but those are facts.
Thank you. Well, it's all subjective. It's hard to compare eras because there's different measuring sticks. And so when they say, oh, this one definitely, because now it seems to be the only measuring stick anybody's paying attention to is Grand Slam titles, major titles in singles. But again, we did not even play the French or the Australian Open for a number of years because it just wasn't that big a deal. The computer rankings were a bigger deal. The season-ending championships was the third biggest tournament of the year for us. I won that 8 times, but that was indoors. Now it's kind of sometimes indoors, sometimes now it's indoors most of the time.
Mainly indoors, yeah.
But it's just different measuring sticks. So whenever greatest of that time, but then Chris Edberg had 8 majors as well, you know, and we pushed each other, made each other better. I think overall, because of my singles and mixed titles, you know, I go into a different category from everybody else. Perhaps the record that I'm most proud of. By the way, I did not play doubles at a tournament, maybe like 3 times my whole life. I always played singles and doubles.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you have. I wrote this down somewhere, but I mean, the number of doubles titles in Grand Slams is ridiculous. It's huge. Where is it? Vainqueur mixed. Yeah. Huge. I mean, anyway, I think you won 8. You won 8 doubles titles. I think at Roland Garros.
Yeah, and for me, the best number is winning singles and doubles in the same tournament 80 times. So that's I know that'll never be broken again because we like singles and doubles at the same time. But I loved it. You know, I always loved doubles most, and I think that was my first title was mixed doubles, and my last major title was mixed doubles with Bob Bryan, the first one at the French with Ivan Molina.
Yeah.
Being a partner, I love being on a team, and so I love playing doubles.
We have Nicolas Mahut who just tuned in, who's asking how many Grand Slam titles you won in total. What is it, 18, 17, 18?
18 singles.
18 singles.
10 mixed. So 41 doubles.
That's ridiculous. But 18 singles, that's more than Djokovic.
31 doubles? Was it 31 doubles? 18, I forget the math. Well, for now, I think he will break it. But you know, the careers, it's just different. Again, the longevity now, I was like the only one that was in my 30s playing. Ken Oswald was an anomaly, Jimmy Connors, but it was an unusual thing for us to be doing as well in our 30s. And for me, that's perhaps the most impressive about Serena Williams winning the majority of her majors after she turned 30, or so many of them. I don't even know that I won so many. I think I only won like 3 or 4 after I turned 30. So that's an amazing accomplishment because it gets harder.
59 titles in total is the we're getting helped here by people who are watching. Nico Mahut is saying insane, and yeah, it is totally insane. He's a big fan of your game. He's also an offensive player, as you know.
I love watching him play. Yeah,
and you were talking about longevity and about this record that you have as the oldest player to ever win a Grand Slam title. That was with Bob Bryan, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Your comeback, what was that like? Your comeback attempt, was it a bit I don't know, did you feel like at any point were you like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, or were you actually happy and you were like, yeah, what the hell, I'll do whatever I want?
Exactly. You know, it's like I was writing an article about Venus Williams. If she wants to keep playing, it doesn't take away any of the titles that she won. There's no rule that says, well, if you play one more year, then we're going to take away Wimbledon titles. No, they're still good. So if you enjoy it, which clearly she does, and I did, then why not? I didn't, after I retired in 94, I got kind of lazy. I didn't work out. I didn't put on a little weight, but I just got And then 2 years later, I thought, this is crazy. I'm skiing, and I stopped after half a day because I was too tired. I want to get back in shape, not like tennis-wise, but just functional shape, so I could at least ski all day. So I did, and then 2 years later, a friend of mine, Marianne de Swart, asked me, oh, would you want to play doubles at Wimbledon? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm in good enough shape. Why not? And that's just kind of how it happened. If she hadn't asked me, I don't think I would have played. But it just kind of, everything fell into place. And then I enjoyed it so much. This is 2000. I had so much fun that I said, oh, I'll do it again next year. And it just kind of mushroomed. And I ended up playing more years. Won 3 mixed doubles titles. Was in a doubles final once, I think. But, you know, my dad says, oh, you're going to lose. Like, oh, I'm going to have fun, Dad. It's okay. won three more titles. So that's not nothing to sneeze at.
What do you think about Kim? What do you think about what Kim is doing? And we saw her play twice, and she got back. Unfortunately, she had to stop. But I mean, she put on some serious performance in both matches she played, and she said just recently that she's going to continue playing as soon as play resumes.
Good for her. If she, if you're healthy and it doesn't hurt, then you're going to, and the results will be pretty sure that she'll do well. It's just a matter of getting that tennis shape. No matter how much you work out, no matter what you do, you don't really get into that tennis shape until you play matches, and then you play enough of them to get that. And of course, when you haven't played for such a long time, it's hard to win those matches. So I just get whatever match your belt and get that feel back, so you don't play by memory but by instinct. And if you're enjoying it, why not? As long as you don't get hurt, long-term side effects or nothing. There's no downside to playing. Yeah, why not? I'm pulling for it. When she was playing the Legends, it was Kim and whoever would win because she was hitting the cover of the ball. Before that, it was Vinges. And then she started playing doubles. Kim is, of course, playing singles. So why not? I think you realize that we're so lucky to sport for a living. And what else are you going to do as well as that? Nothing, ever. Okay. But if you still do it, why not? Nothing venture, nothing gain. What have you got to lose?
The problem is that when Roland Garros is going to come by in September, you won't be able to play with her in the Legends if she's playing in the singles, right?
I don't think they'll have the Legends. I don't know what will happen back then. Oh my! And I said I've missed tennis. I haven't hit at all 2 months. And
who would be your Legends partner? Your ideal Legends partner?
Oh yeah, Kim.
Kim.
Lindsay, I'm playing with Lindsay. We work together also with Tennis Channel. We've become good friends through work. And she's so easygoing. I'm a little more intense, but she's easygoing, so a good mix. And yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just having a good time out there. Try not to make a fool of yourself and give people something. Oh, I remember when you hit 20 years ago. I can still hit it.
I was sitting front row for your win in '84. We were luckily my father. I had a friend who invited us, and we were sitting there in the front row. Really, the row where Philippe Chatrier was with the cup on the left, as a memory that stays for life. Somebody's asking here. It's an interesting question. It wasn't planned, but do you think Serena can make 24?
Yeah, absolutely she can. But it is definitely more difficult because when you get older, everything takes longer. Recovery, training to get into a certain level. When you don't work out for a month and you try to get it back, when you did that in your 20s, you get it back in a week. In your 30s, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Everything takes longer. Everything slows down. So it's just, and then also your head. Experience can be helpful when you channel it the right way, or it can get in the way because then the mind goes too crazy. But the way Serena plays, she doesn't have to be that physical because of her power. She doesn't have to be in great fitness shape, but she still needs to be good enough to hit the ball so she can hit it well. Can she do it? Absolutely. Will she? It just gets more difficult. So again, chapeau down if she can pull it off, because the younger ones are not losing anything time-wise. I mean, and they can actually improve, I think, a lot with technique. This is a good time to experiment with new shots, new techniques, and strategies, new training maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Or in that age, in your 30, like Roger and Serena, in the same boat, really, age-wise. They're just trying to maintain, and it's really hard to maintain when this is what's going on. So,
any particular, you think there's one of the majors where she has more of a chance than the others?
Of course, Wimbledon. I think the Australian is faster than the US Open playing-wise, although this year was a little bit slower again. They keep changing the speed of the court. The 2 years before, when Roger won, that would have been up to speed for Serena as well.
Mm-hmm.
The US Open is a little bit faster than it used to be, but Wimbledon is still where her serve pays off the best and her big strokes pay off the best. So yeah, that's her chance, but this year she won't get it. So but it's we're living in such an uncertain time. Who will respond the best? No idea.
Sure. Yeah. So also I wanted to ask you something. You're such a tennis, like you're in the strategy of the game. You're in the love of the game. How come we don't see you more sitting in a player's box coaching? What? I mean, you seem like just a living coach. There's I really no reason why you shouldn't be coaching. How come you're not coaching?
Well, I've been asked a few times. I worked with Agnieszka Radwanska for about 3 months, but she's the type where it takes her a long time to put in new ideas and trust it and do it. And I was too impatient for her, I think. It just wasn't a good mesh that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been asked a couple times. But then when you start talking, how it would work, also has to be part-time. I cannot do full-time, obviously, but money gets in the way. People say it's an investment. I don't understand why more top players for help, because, by the way, you're gonna learn the most the first month, and then it's like a diminishing return. You're gonna learn the most the first year, not the second year. The first 6 months, wow, it's an investment into your future, but players don't seem to want to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes down to money and availability, but maybe also for some it would be too much pressure. I know I felt it when Billie Jean was helping me. I felt it when I played doubles with her first time. I'm like, oh my God, if we lose, it's my fault. And then when she was coaching me, which was helping me part-time, which was enough, I felt more pressure when she was there because, I didn't disappoint her. People were paying more attention because now Billie Jean was. So maybe that pressure, they don't want that also. I don't know. But I would love to coach on a part-time basis when it's the right situation. It has to be somebody that's willing to work hard. I don't take half of an effort. I always give 100%. So I expect that from whoever would be.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it, you have to be open and be willing to try new things and trust the process. That we're talking long term. I'm not talking tomorrow, although I think you will play better tomorrow also. But long term, to be open to new ideas, and so many are not.
Okay, so the message is on the board there, guys, girls, whoever you are. She's looking to coach. She wants to coach. What are you guys waiting for? What about being Fed Cup captain?
It's a lot of stress. I have not been asked. I put my hat in the ring years ago, and didn't get it. They said, well, maybe, didn't put my resume down when I applied for the job. I was told I should have.
What are they thinking?
I don't know. But I love it. Maybe again, I'm so intense. Maybe the players decided they'd rather have somebody else because I would be too intense.
Would you be a Fed Cup captain or Davis Cup captain? I don't know why I'm saying, but let's say Fed Cup for the sake of argument for Czech Republic. Is that something that you would consider also? I mean, that's a big team. That's a big legacy there.
They don't need a coach there. They got an amazing team with Petra and Carolina. They could field two really good. But I think they're in good hands. So yeah, would I do it? Of course, I would consider it.
Okay, and coaching would not be limited to women. Coaching guys is.
Of course, I've been asked by some guys as well. So yeah, I think now Amelie Marismo showed yes, you can do it. I mean, Billie Jean was coaching men players before, also, and I still don't understand the philosophy of court is the same. It's the same thing, right? Tennis, men's tennis, women's tennis. And they say women are more complicated than men, right? Emotionally, this and that. So really, when you think about it, if we want to go that way, then women should only coach women. But since men are less complicated, women should also coach men, but coach women, right?
Of course, yeah, makes sense.
No, you look, it's tennis. So male, female, who cares? When I hired a coach, did I think, I want a woman coach or I want a men coach? No, I want somebody that knows the game, that I can play to, that I respect, that I will learn from, that I want to work with. The gender never came into my mind. And I would be thinking the same thing as if I was a man. Andy Murray, he picked the best person for him at that time, Amelie, and she helped him a lot. So,
I mean, she was on the verge. I mean, she had been named Davis Cup captain, and then things changed, and finally she started. Now she's coaching Lucas, and that's why she left her Davis Cup captain nomination. But yeah, I mean, she showed the way a little bit. She wasn't the first, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand that there are not more women coaching guys. It just makes zero sense.
yeah, well, I mean, you saw, I think it was Tony Nadal was saying something about men should never be coaching a man. Really funny to talk to you about that, Tony. But it's changing. The mentality is definitely changing, and I think you will see a lot more women coaches, period, coaching other women, but also you will see more women coaching men, and people realize it's no big deal. Remember what a big deal it was when we had a first woman umpire in a men's match?
Yeah.
Oh, now you don't even think about it.
I think that she was French. I think no, it was Sandra de Genken
who's terrific.
Yeah.
But you judge them by how good they are, not the gender. And guys,
yeah, exactly.
Don't ever talk to the umpire. Oh, it's just another woman. No, that doesn't happen anymore. And I think it'll be the same with the coaching.
It's just very flagrant in Davis Cup because in Fed Cup you have a lot of male captains, whereas in Davis Cup, I don't think there's a single female captain. I to my knowledge, or at least not at the high level.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. How do you see this tournament ending? The one that's going to be played in September. Is it on the women and on the men? For the men, it's Rafa without a doubt. If the tournament takes place and he's there.
Well, Rafa, the only reason he wouldn't win is because he didn't get enough play, because he really likes, he gets a lot of confidence from playing a lot of tennis, and then even more confidence from playing a lot of matches, and he won't have either. I mean, he have the tennis but not the matches, and I think that he may not be as sharp as he would like to be, but he's still the man to beat, no doubt. A game like Djokovic is easier to get that time, right, because his strokes are just a little more easier to get the timing back on, technically speaking.
Right.
And Rafa also runs more, I think, because he's looking for the forehand a lot more. So it's just a lot of factors go into it. But again, I think this is a good maybe tweak some things. Both will probably be working on the serve, because the rest of their game is not going to change much. But they both can improve the serve, and they've both gotten better, but they can get better. And it just be a matter of who can, I think, handle the nerves better at that point. But 3 out of 5 on clay, Rafa's laughing, you know.
yeah. And in the women's side, it's more open on the women's side.
It's always been that. I mean, Sasha Kenin winning the Australian and then backing it up in either Doha or Dubai, I can't remember which one she won. Backed it up right away, fight hard, and Paris, I think she from it, or somewhere in Europe.
In Lyon, no? Lyon, I think.
Lyon. She like 3 setters every match. Just, you know, she's such a fighter. She would be for me perhaps one of the favorites. She loves clay as well. But you know,
and Ash could defend her title also.
Party defend. I mean, it's wide open, and of course you can't. Serena won it twice. She won the French twice.
Yeah, I think so. Twice or 3 times. I haven't. Somebody will tell us.
So yeah. Anyway, so she will have a shot at it, because again, she doesn't need that much fitness. Even if it's on clay, she still hit people off the court with her serve and big returns. Points are short. So it'll just be, it's wide open. It's wide open. But what will interest me is how many times they walk back to towel off. You know, they've been using that towel as a crutch for a long time now. 10 years ago, it didn't exist. Now every player's doing it, but now the ball kids aren't going to get to anymore. So you have to go and get. So I don't think we'll see as much toweling off anymore.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing.
I hated that. I'm like, really? And now they're more strict on time as well. So you better run to get that towel. So you better be in really good shape to get your own towel after every point if you want to do.
Okay. The next person that's going to be sitting in your chair is a guy that you probably have heard of. Name is Stefan Edberg. Rings a bell?
Or is he coming to my house?
Not to your house, but he's going to be in the window under me. Unless you invite him, maybe he'll pop over. You know, he might be in the area. So I was wondering if you could, first of all, what is your what does he represent for you as a player? That what he did for the game and what type of player he was?
Class, just class all the way around, off the court, on the court, just played the game. You know, he was a Chris Edberg, but attacking, and the way he covered the court, he's just so effortless, very graceful, and an amazing athlete, fun to watch, one of the best volleyers of all time. And the one thing that I always remember, how nobody did it as well, and nobody will probably do it as well ever. Attacking the opposing player's second serve in the ad court, hits a backhand cross-court approach, which is a big no-no, and he can still cover the forehand down the line. I mean, the volley down the line.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He it's like two big steps, and he was in the right place for the passing shot, which is really impossible. You have to have the size and the strength to do that. You know, he just it was just so smooth. He was so smooth.
And he's the class act on court and off court.
Class personified, yeah. A credit to our sport in every single way.
So, can you help me out with a question for him?
Question: how did he develop into such an attacking player growing up on clay? Because I did the same thing, and I was getting killed in juniors. It finally started paying off when I was about 15, 16, but before that, so he stuck to it. So why? Why?
Yeah, you were going against what coaches were telling you, or coaches were telling you to continue this attacking game?
What happened was I finally won when I was 14. I won the 14 under. And the Czech Federation said to my father, okay, we'll take over from now because she's coming to the net too much. She needs to develop more of a baseline game. And my father said, no, I'll keep coaching her and she'll play tennis the way she wants to play. Thank you very much. So but it didn't pay off until then. But everybody thought, oh, you need to stay back more. So I would ask Stefan, why did he develop that way? And was he winning early on with that style? Because I doubt very much that was the case. So, but he stuck with it. So why?
Okay, I will ask him, and he will answer you. We're coming close to the end of this. Before we go, I have a little quiz that I have for you. 3-question quiz, Roland Garros oriented, Martina Navratilova oriented.
I'm terrible at these things.
Good, because I don't like it when people win my quizzes. So, first question. You ready?
Give me a quiz about me and I won't be able to answer.
It is about you. It is about you. It is about you.
It is? Oh, it's going to be embarrassing. Okay, go.
Okay, here we go. Who was on the other side of the net for your very first appearance on Court Philippe Chatrier, back then known as Cour Centrale?
No idea.
I'll give you a hint. The year was 1974. The round was round number 1.
So it had to be a French player. François Dur? No. Was it a French player?
Nope.
Oh, I think.
American.
Oh, Billie Jean didn't play. I didn't play her. Chris? Did I lose to Chris in the first round? I don't know.
First name Robin.
Robin. 1974?
Robin Tenney.
Oh, Robin and Laura Tenney. I remember the sister. She's a lefty.
Exactly.
What else on center court? It must have been after, the matches went really fast and they put us on because I was like barely 20. Neither was she. I think we must have been a filler match.
Potentially, but you take what they give you, right?
Yeah, I remember Robin Tenney, but I just don't remember that match.
Yeah, that was your first Court Centrale appearance. Okay, great. I'm leading 1-0. Second question: can you describe the 1982 championship point versus Andrea Jaeger?
No.
Come on.
I was probably at the net, but I never saw it. That's what I'm telling you.
What do you mean you never saw it?
I never saw the match again. So
all right, when we end here, you go on YouTube and you type it, you'll see it.
I'll remember then. I do not remember at all.
Okay. Were you serving or returning? Do you remember that?
If I was serving, then I was serving volleying. No, I don't. And if I was returning, I was probably keep in charge, but I don't remember.
Okay, so you were returning. You were on the ad court. You went for you hit a cross court forehand to her backhand.
Mm-hmm.
You followed up to the net.
I did. Like,
And you put the, very surprising, and you put the forehand volley in the open court on the deuce court. And that was it.
okay.
Do you remember
I'll
what
have-
she was wearing? What she was wearing on her head?
She had that like a Bjorn Borg bandana.
Exactly. Okay, so first of all, I've won the quiz already, but last question, just for fun. At the end of your winning speech in 1984, okay, you said a few words in French.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were?
I prepared a speech, and no, I'm sure that I thanked
Somebody
the crowd.
from the crowd said something to you, and you answered back. Do you remember what you said?
Je vous aime aussi.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I got one in French.
I'll give you 2 points for that. I'll give you 2 points.
It's a tough.
The French crowd and I was watching this, the journalists that were commentating on French TV got such a kick out of the fact that you spoke in French.
I tried.
It was good. It was good. Okay, great. And finally, as you know, we are running an auction at the end of the month for the Hôpitaux de Paris, which are the Paris hospitals. And we know that you're going to be donating something for this auction. So
Yes.
can you tell us what it is and what?
It is a hat. It is a hat from the Shenzhen WTA finals from last year.
Yeah.
Where it was played for the first time before we were in Singapore for 5 years. So Shenzhen, and right now, of course, there will be a WTA finals, but we're hoping somehow we'll have a tournament then.
Okay, and balls, I think, no, it wasn't a hat, and with your nice signature on it.
With my only Martina. I used to write my whole name, but then it was so illegible that I just started writing Martina. It worked, and now a lot of players are doing the same thing. Copycats.
Yeah, you started it. You're the GOAT. I mean, there's nothing else to say.
We do have 2 goats in our garden too. I told you about the chickens. We have goats also.
Jesus,
but
it's a farm out there, huh?
it is a farm. It's
and
legal.
You're self-sufficient.
Almost. Almost. Between the eggs and the fruits and veggies, we would be okay. We would not starve, that's for sure.
Okay, great. Well, listen, next time I'm in the area, I'm going to visit my parents. Can I stop by and meet your goats?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Martina, thank you so much. This was really an honor to have you on with us and to kick off this show. Hope we'll see you soon in Paris in September. Say hi to your goats, your dogs, your ducks, wife, children, everything, to the delivery guy.
Okay.
And
hang on.
Oh, where's she gone? Where's she gone? Oh, there it is. Who's this?
That's Lulu. That's the one that was making all that noise.
Oh, thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Lulu. And now, of course, she doesn't say anything, right?
No, she's very happy because she's in my lap and nobody.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Au revoir. Merci beaucoup, Martina. On vous aime.
Oh, merci beaucoup.
Bye-bye.